Hello.
Hello. I'm so glad we're finally meeting.
New friends. For anyone out there listening to podcast land, new friends, instant friendship.
Yes.
You run into people. I was telling you this, but you just run into people like, we have a very similar vibe. We're both very excitable. We're both very into what we do. Like, you've built such an incredible brand. I have definitely been following it along, and I've heard amazing things from people that I really respect about you. So I'm super excited to get to know you finally.
Well, the feeling is mutual. You cultivate such a community in our industry. So I've been dying and I couldn't wait to meet you. So I'm so excited we're finally there.
Finally. Yeah. Now we get to hang out all the time. So we're at Social Media Summit right now. You have been to some pretty incredible sessions, and I know you have thoughts. So I want to talk about then what you have heard that's really interesting, and then your take on it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many good nuggets to take away. I think in general, I love this conference so much because of the intimacy, the true conversations you get to have with folks, and understanding today, especially talking about data. And data, there are so many different definitions for all the words that our sales folks use, our marketing folks use, our vendors use. So really understanding how vendors are approaching that, how other owner operators are approaching that, and where's the world in between, right? Because there's so many brilliant people. So I love just having all of those deep conversations.
There's a reason why data is more important than ever right now. I can think of two reasons, and I'll tell you my thoughts.
Please.
Number one, if we're going to be using AI, we need good inputs for the AI to analyze. So we got to get our data ducks in a row, but also we have to communicate this stuff together. Like you said, if there's discrepancies, and there's also a lot of changes in the market, and that's one, first party data.
Yes.
Third party data is going away. The internet is not letting us stalk each other anymore.
No more.
And so
that's when we figured it out.
Yeah, I know. We not only need to be able to have good, clean data, but we're responsible for getting it ourselves.
Yes. I think it's so important to articulate. There are so many KPIs to measure in the space. So clearly articulating, what do we want to measure? How do we want to measure it? When do we want to measure it? Being transparent from a 360 approach on that. And then just, understanding again, that discrepancy tolerance, because those different definitions. So as you're looking at that first party data, third party data, however the dynamic changes, being open to learning and learning together internally and with your vendor partners.
I want to know what you consider, in the year of 2024, the year of our Lord, the Barbie movie. Actually, it was last year. But it's just always the Barbie year, the Barbie movie. What is your table stakes when it comes to technology for your business?
Table stakes, I would say, what tech are we using to drive operational success? Last year, we laid a fantastic foundation on what partners we wanted to use, what we wanted to change, what we wanted to enhance. We're still looking at that, but now really going back to the basis on building our BI tools and how things are talking to each other. The connective intelligence is so important across our vendor partners. So really, really dialing in to be laser focused on what's going to help us achieve our budgets and our success, right? What is truly helping our leasing associates? What is driving results that our C-suites are asking us about every single day? And how can we work with partners to create solutions for true business problems today?
Very well spoken. Thank you. So, but there's a lot of options out there when it comes to vendor partners. There's a lot of really good companies, and there's companies popping up all the time. How do you manage evaluating all of that? How do you select the right one for your business?
Well, I would say not only great problems they're solving, great products, but also great people. Yeah. And we're such a relationships, community-driven industry. So sometimes it's really hard and it's really easy to get blinded by it. But what I would say, True, how we navigate through that noise is we are so disciplined with our demo process. We are not just looking at what products we want to use, what problems we want to solve for, but also we are having very, very in-depth integration conversations before we even look at a contract. We are talking about what's speaking to what is mapping, there's a lot. Courtney on my team is fantastic, always talking about calendaring and telephony, because it's something that isn't as sexy as everything else to talk about.
I don't know, the word telephony is pretty sexy.
But those can break your data. Those can break your processes. And then your leasings are like, you got us this cool new thing, but now it's not working. And how do we do that? So I would say, again, going back to discipline, asking so many questions, not because you're trying to break a product, but because you want it to be better. You want to help those you're speaking to just as much as you want them to help you. So really almost elongating your demo process, elongating your vetting process, purely so everybody has a win-win outcome. And then also understanding and communicating on the operator side what bandwidth you have to make that product successful. I've found so many vendors are like, we can turn this on in 2 days, 2 weeks, whatever it may be. But maybe on the owner operator side, we can't give you the attention it deserves to be successful. We can't train our teams that fast. So being really honest and upfront so that way both of you walk away with a success.
So you are spending so much time and so much care on the demo process, but you do not have time to demo everything.
Not everything.
How do you build your short list?
I would say we really go back to, we as an executive committee look at what are the problems we're trying to solve. What are our investors asking for? Where do we see a need? We survey not only our residents and our prospects all the time, we survey our internal company all the time. We're asking what collectively is the biggest need. And then we, of course, all have our priority list. They all are different. But then we have a very transparent, open conversation internally to determine, okay, throughout the year, let's break this into quarters. How do we want to solve this? When do we want to solve this? And we let that be our North Star for our process.
I was chatting with my friend Jenna Miller from Bozzuto, and she said something brilliant. She's like, we can do anything, but we can't do everything.
Yes.
And I was like, yes, that was such a mic drop moment. And that's something to live by because it can be really overwhelming.
Yes.
So you have this really in-depth demo process. You're asking all these deep integrations questions. Then what? So then implementation. How do you get buy-in from your team?
Yeah, I would say we involve our teams in the demo process. I love to include a regional manager, a community manager, almost think of it as like a pilot or beta test within just the demo alone. Sometimes, honestly, just including them in the conversation is the buy-in you need, because as marketers, so often we're like, okay, we can do this. It's going to give you more leads, more leads, more leads. Sometimes more leads is not the answer because that's more work for them in the day. So truly involving them in that process has been such a buy-in, and just developing that relationship throughout the year when it's not the demo time. We spend a lot of time on employee engagement and our internal conference. We want to cultivate relationships within, so that way any decision we're making outside really is going to drive efficiency and not just be another thing to add on the list.
I have been guilty of many poor implementations when I was like, shiny new thing, I'm a marketer. Here, do it. And that does not work, and that does not build trust with your team.
Same, because we get excited. We're so passionate.
I'm so shiny and new. I'm such an early adopter too. I really have to check myself. The property manager who was the most cranky about all the other implementations, I was like, you know what? You choose it then. I made him sit through every demo with me. And it was so successful because he was the loudest anti all these things before. And then all of a sudden he was like, oh, this is also my idea. And then he became the loudest advocate for all his peers across my portfolio. And it was life-changing.
Yeah, I really firmly believe in the flywheel effect. And it is so important to get that buy-in so they think it's their idea or they are part of the solution.
Always want to feel like our voice is heard.
Yes, yes, yes. It's so seen, heard, and remembered, regardless of what we do every day. And our teams have so much great feedback. And I actually think it's an untold voice, but really our maintenance teams have so much amazing feedback, and they actually have the most interactions with our residents. So yes. I always say a brand is a story that's always being told. And it means it whatever partnership you do, whatever process you follow, and that is so important.
Absolutely. So you choose these amazing partners. You have it all implemented. It's gorgeous and amazing. How are you managing all these relationships now?
It's a lot, but I mean, it's such a joy to work with the people we do. We have the best, I'm biased, we have the best people. It's fantastic. I love bringing my team to conferences. I love having my teams that maybe aren't always on CSR meetings or performance reviews. I like to involve them in the process because the more JVM faces, the better. So I think that's how we best manage it. I really like to cultivate the relationships. So that's also why I love this conference so much, because you can have so many more of those meaningful conversations.
So tiny, so we can have them for longer. Amazing. So we're being very measured about the technology we're implementing, but just Kadi personally, whether it's in your personal life or in your business or in your marketing career, what new technology or trends are you like, ooh, that's interesting? Like, are you curious about and are like peeking around and looking at?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Any technology to help my running performance. Yeah. I'm a marathon runner and coach, and I could geek out about running and community through running as well. So yeah, I'm really looking at various fitness tracking apps, how that holistically looks at the whole person and how that can drive your performance. So whether it's my running gait or my running clothes or my running fuel, I geek out on the technology around running.
You sound like a very data-driven marketer, Kadi.
Yeah.
I even want the data on the gait of my running.
Yes, yes. Oh, it's fantastic.
I watched this TikTok of this runner, and she's like, I sometimes get bored of running, so I make it a game. You can like sprint a certain street really fast, and it like bumps her above professional runners. What is it called? But she just like,
Please tell me.
I don't know. I do
Report
not,
back.
I will not run. That is not me. So we do not have that in common. Yeah. But that's so cool to hear. And you know, like technology is so ingrained in our life, of course, and it should enhance it. It should not add friction. Like the point of it is to make our lives easier. And so the way that you're so thoughtful and bringing everyone on board and like making sure that it does enhance it is really cool.
Yeah, well, thank you.
And it's so good to meet you. Any parting thoughts for the people in podcast land?
Oh gosh, I would just say we get so paralyzed by all the decisions and data and the buzzwords and centralization and AI. Let me throw a few more in there. But like, remember what we do is we work in people's homes. At the end of the day, they don't live where we work. We work where they live. And remember that, put yourselves in the shoes of the renter and let that drive the community you're building within the industry. And I promise it'll be so much more fun and easier.
I can't think of a better way to end the conversation and also the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.